is here who's going to be here. I'll join me.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to see we have so many people here with us today. However, our first order of business is the approval of minutes. We'll take them in one fell swoop. If somebody will make that motion.
I'll make that motion to approve the minutes as corrected. Second.
Because Sarah is online, we'll do a roll. Sarah?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes. Jenny, yes.
Joe, yes.
Kevin, yes.
Alexa, yes. Thank you very, very much. Is there anybody here from the public who would like to make a comment today? Seeing none, we will roll right into our program for the evening. If I could introduce Derek Ferland and Matt Lagos. They are here from Sullivan County. Thank you. Anywhere you're comfortable.
Okay, see, on the stand, how about sort of in the middle? So thank you, Madam Chair. Once again, Derek Ferland, Sullivan County Manager, Matt Lagos, our nursing home administrator for Sullivan County Healthcare. And we just wanted to come by tonight very briefly to share some news about a program that we have at the county. Really excited about it. I just want to make sure that we're getting out to the community to make sure that you all are familiar. So the school boards, administration, folks from the schools, parents, that we're just saturating our communities with word about this program. So it's primarily about growing our workforce for the nursing career field. We do have other career opportunities within the county, but the focus really has been on nursing. Since coming out of COVID, our staffing's been hammered like so many other healthcare organizations. And so we realized quickly that the future of our workforce is in your classrooms. So we've made a concerted effort to try to connect with all of our local schools. So we've been to Stevens, we've been to Newport, we come to this presentation tonight. We've actually been across the river over in Windsor to try to get the word out as well, to make sure that we're many audiences. We have a program that I will let Matt describe in greater detail, but I think historically, when our staffing wasn't as dire, we weren't doing a good enough job to get out and make sure that people were aware of really the wonderful career opportunities there are, particularly in healthcare, as a license-based career. You don't have to go to college necessarily to get a degree in nursing to become a nurse and have a wonderful and productive and really lucrative career. So I think for a lot of our kids in and around Sullivan County, that's a pathway that really needs to be seriously considered, because you can get right into it even before you graduate high school and avoid mountains of college debt. And like I said, you progress all the way up to be an RN and really punch your own ticket, because there are so many healthcare jobs. You don't have to be really sequestered by just one employer. So anyway, Matt will give you a bit more detail about the specifics of our program.
Thank you, Derek, and good evening. Thanks for having us. So again, Matt Lagos, I'm the administrator of the nursing home. We have a program called Unit Aid to LNA, and we hire people as a unit aid. And a unit aid is somebody that could help pass out glasses of water, deliver mail, talk with the residents, do a variety of non-clinical tasks while they're enrolled in an LNA training class. An LNA is a licensed nursing assistant, for those that don't know. While they're in this program, we offer $16 an hour, which is a pretty decent starting wage for giving back in a more rewarding job than flipping burgers or scooping ice cream, which those can be fun, but again, a job in healthcare can be a lot of fun. We've had great success so far through this program. We've added an equivalent of 8 full-time workers. People that have come in from Unit 8 have taken the class, have become licensed LNAs, and have either stayed per diem or have gone on to be full-time after they graduate from high school. As Derek mentioned, the county can get you elevated. So once you become an LNA, and if you like healthcare and you feel that that's a career path, we have tuition reimbursement programs and tuition assistance programs that you could go take your LPN, licensed practical nurse. And then after that, the county can again help you get your RN degree or your RN certificate, should that be where you want to go. LPN is a great career. We have some stats on here about how much a nurse can make, and, you know, the numbers have just grown since COVID. So, it's a wonderful opportunity. We would like to kind of share. We have flyers if your guidance counselor or your career opportunities could post them. I'd love to present those to you.
I apologize, I should have made this introduction. We have Deb Connell here, she's our director of CTE.
So then there's some extra there as well as my contact. Thank you. In addition, the Unit Aid program is great. However, within a couple of days, some people find, I don't want to be a nurse. That stuff is not for me, and I respect that. But we have other opportunities, whether it be in the activity department, whether it be in the seeing what a social service person does, seeing what a therapy person does, and our dietary department. We are constantly training people to work in our kitchen. And you can learn a skill just as much as you can being an LNA. So I do have another packet for those. I'll hand them to you so you don't have to get up again. But I just wanted to kind of share all of that with you folks, and I really, really appreciate the time. I'd be happy to answer any questions that anybody might have.
What's the minimum starting age?
So the minimum starting age for Unit Aid is 14, but we do like to try to get people that are going to be junior or seniors. There are some things that you can't do based upon your age in a healthcare setting, so.
And 16 to be an LNA, right?
Yeah, and 16 to become an LNA once you can sit and take the test.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
So is this something that you have people who would work with students, so the hours are like nights and weekends or
Yeah.
afternoons, something that can work with their schedule and is fairly flexible?
Yes, so Becky is our staff developer, so she has a calendar of when we hold these classes. So I have a class going on right now, it's an evening class. Her next class will be sometime in June, I don't remember the exact date, but that'll be based upon school vacations. And so we alternate an evening and a day. Classes are a couple of times a week. The Unit Aid hours are extremely flexible, so, yeah.
I'm sorry, I think you already answered this question, but, two of the towns in this district are from Cheshire County.
Mhm.
And, the kids you don't care if they're from Cheshire
No.
County or Sullivan County.
No, again,
Just wanna
you know,
make sure.
the goal of this is to increase our workforce, right?
Yeah.
And you know, it sounds weird, and we'll let Derek not hear this, but I want more LNAs in our work area than we know what to do with. More nurses than we know what to do with, because that's how we make a healthier community. And then, you know, as the people come and go, they may find, I want to work in a hospital, not a nursing home. But we'll be that starting block. We'll train them. We'll give you that starting jump for your career.
That's excellent. Thank you.
So, thank you very much.
We don't have any minimum payback. So I know that the question we've had before is, do we have like a 1-year payback where
Oh,
We don't-
work there for a year to.
No, we don't have any paybacks. I mean, we'd like to think that when we have somebody that we brought in, they're gonna be so acclimated to our leadership and work climate that they're gonna wanna stay, but we don't wanna have anybody feel like, they're.
Have to stay.
Yeah.
Is there a minimum time commitment per day?
No, I mean, the class is a board, sort of like a board
Mhm,
nursing
sure.
class. And those are X amount of hours that have to happen.
Sure.
But a Unit Aid is, again, very flexible, so if the student could work, 9 in the morning till noon, that's what we'll do,
So you'll take whatever they have available.
What is it, 12 weeks roughly, Matt? Each class?
Yeah, each class is roughly 12 weeks. Again, there's a certain hour requirement that the
Sure.
Board of Nursing sets. So there's differences between the evening class, if it goes 12 weeks, 13 weeks, or the summer class can sometimes jam out a little faster.
Do you find that any of the students that might want to engage have trouble with transportation or anything like that?
Yeah, it's funny, when we went to Vermont, that was the #1 barrier.
Question, yeah.
It's a weird phenomenon of kids getting their licenses later.
Expensive.
It is very expensive, and cars are expensive, and gas is
Right,
expensive,
right.
and everything else, so, again, carpooling, if there's 2 or 3 or 4.
If there were enough students from whatever area that were interested, that maybe, where we have our own fleets.
Right.
That the schools could, band together, maybe, do a day, whatever.
Right.
If there were enough kids, yeah, cause this is important. And, it's not only important work, I think it's a great opportunity, cause not all kids wanna go to college.
Exactly.
And, they still can make a great living doing this, and
Right.
it's rewarding. And I think it would help us also in the long run, just because, oftentimes, if we have students who have high needs, we hire LNAs
Right.
to be with those students,
Exactly.
so even if they came back to us as an LNA and then still worked for you as per diem, you're still getting something
Right.
long-term out of it, right?
And even if they don't come work for us.
Right,
And they work for you, that's one other LNA
right,
that we're not all competing for.
right, that we're not stealing, yeah.
That's a great point.
Yeah, great.
All right, well, thank you all for your
Thank
time.
you.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Do you want to ask anything before they?
Well, I'm gonna share this with Polly Gowdy, who's our career advisor, and I'm gonna ask her to reach out to you to get more specifics. And she, is able to talk to groups of students, and Polly actually is able to drive the van. So, yeah, we're really working towards trying to, help with the transportation aspect, and getting students out. So I'll have her contact you so she understands what she's doing.
Sure.
She sets up the cafeteria and promotes all sorts of, programs to inform kids what's
Great.
going on, what the opportunities are.
Excellent, excellent.
Well, thank you very much for being here. This
Thank
is a
you.
really exciting
Thank you.
program, and I hope we can help.
Thank you for having us. Thanks for putting us towards the front of the agenda so we can, have a zoning board thing after school too, so much appreciated.
Thank you.
Oh, sure, yeah.
All right, and with that, we invite you up. Thank you.
Well, good evening. I'm glad to be here to have a chance to talk to you and to update you a bit in what's going on with CTE. What I'd like to start with is to show a 2-minute video, which I generally show when I go out to our regional school districts. I go out to Leominster, Unity, Keene, Monadnock, and of course our middle schools in Belmont Regional School District. We also, when we go out, we try to have a little activity with the students also. We get a lot of engagement, but Brandon said he would start this video for me. I also have 3 students who've given up their time to come tonight and talk a little bit about their programs.
Thanks. Well, then, Tony. They're out of sync. There you go.
And the music's not playing, but,
He's getting them synced up.
okay. the video helps excite you a little bit about, our school and our CTE programs and how you can sit in your math class or English class and you go outside and you put on your butt boots and your fine clothes or your uniform and you go out and you drill or, work with the animals or the flowers. It's pretty exciting. CTE really is, really a strong part of our culture at the high school. Over just about every student at Belmont Regional High School takes a CTE class at some time in their career here. And currently this year, between the fall and this semester, we've had 334 students enroll in CTE courses. Now, some of those kids are in their second grades, but that's a really strong number. And it reflects the value of the foundation and skills you can get in a CTE course, the work ethic, ready for college, ready for work, you're ready for life with these courses. The kids really have learned to take on a lot of responsibility. Not only the students, but obviously parents are supporting the students in choosing these courses, and there's a value, community value represented as well. So the numbers are shown here, the enrollment numbers, and Brent, I don't know if you wrote that down at all, but you'll see, you get fancy here. I'm just gonna go over here and just point. We also sent about 30 kids out to River Valley and to Keene, and more students will be going to Cheshire Career Center, Keene next year. But we, on our regional enrollments, we have about 30 students who come in. From the animal science program, it generates $52,000 in revenue. And for JROTC, it's about 26 grand. And I don't know if you can roll down that a little bit for me to the, just so you can see. So our programs do generate some revenue, which I think that's also nice to keep out in the back of your mind when we're talking budget and things of that nature. So that's our numbers. Any questions on enrollments?
So how many spots are there for students that come out from outside of Fall Mountain?
We're working on a new regional agreement. Animal science, digital design, and JROTC are the three programs that we are different from Cheshire, that we can accept kids from their school. The JROTC is not an issue at all. We have plenty of space there. Digital design, animal science, we basically split enrollment. And in our new regional agreement, that's what we're seeking to do, reserve 50% of the seats for Fall Mountain, 50% for Keene and Adnock. We even have someone looking to come over from Jaffrey, Range area, but there hasn't been a problem. We've been able to get kids off a wait list, because that's what happens. There's a wait list generated. And so we haven't pushed any of us, none of our students have not been able to get the course because of regional students, and we have that before.
So when you say 50%, is it 50% of the 76 or the 106?
What, 50% of what did I say? Oh, about 50% of what?
Seats are reserved for outside.
Oh, what's gonna happen with that? That's a new regional agreement, and it will be for animal science.
Okay,
So if we have 18 seats, 9 are reserved for us, 9 for them. And we run a second course, which that's what we've done to meet the demand,
okay.
and we'll run a second course. And there's a great demand for the animal science, and I'm happy, I have a couple students here who've been involved in animal science, can talk about that, because it's unique to the area, and you really have to have that love of agriculture.
Can I ask a question?
Sorry, Sarah, I can't see you, so. you need to.
Yeah, the screen isn't showing me, so, I have a couple of students over at Unity in my role as, working as the Goshen, Special Ed Director. And I'm just wondering, are you reaching out to Unity for kids that might be interested in the 8th graders that might be interested in the program as they come up to the high school?
Yes, Sarah. Actually, the majority of Unity students do come to Fall Mountain Regional High School. And
Yes, I know that.
Yeah. And, yeah, and so I haven't had an opportunity to go in and drill down to see what Unity students are taking for CTE classes, but it's the same with Leinster. Those who have school choice that are coming here really are looking at CTE. And I also have to say, we have 3 students coming to the JROTC program from Vermont, if you can believe that. One family is paying tuition for the daughter, Abby Stabro, who's here tonight. She lives in the school choice district. And that's their choice is Fall Mountain. I'm proud to say that.
Yeah, and there are, actually, I've talked with the people over at the River Valley Technical Center. They have said that there's quite a few kids who would be interested in being in doing the JROTC program. So that's something to be looking at also. I know that there are kids I know that there's at least one student in Unity who is very interested in the JROTC program, and probably in some of the later on as she get, she's only an 8th grader, but as she gets to be older, probably in some of the other CTE courses also. So.
Yeah, and actually, Sarah, you're welcome to bring the student over for an individual tour. We like to do that. We're open anytime, any day. It's fine with us.
Great.
We're happy to have this.
I know Unity is planning on doing a tour of the high school. I don't know if they can, if I don't know if the principal's there or not, but if the CTE programs could be part of that tour, that would be a really good thing.
Yes, they usually are, Sarah.
Okay,
I'm kind of
great.
partial to that happens, so we're good.
Good.
Okay, so now, because I know we want to keep this relatively short, just to share a couple pieces of news with you. Something that's kind of neat, which was, I was just asked to get involved in by central office, is the Grow Your Own Paraprofessional Initiative. And I think we're meeting next week. Kristen Wilson is working with me with that. And I think we can bring that to fruition here. We're going to talk some more, but the Cheshire Career Center, this Keene School District, have actually started a Para Pathway Initiative where students graduate from high school and go work as paraprofessionals in the elementary schools while they continue their education to get their certification. It's been successful. I spoke to Richard Town about that. So it's just getting off the ground. Misty is involved as well. We haven't had our first meeting, but it'll be next week. I feel pretty comfortable with moving forward with this. Beth Fabiano, who teaches child growth and development, feels she has a few students who have the ability and interest who actually maybe even this year might want to apply if we can have a pilot. So wanted to share that. And then I'm kind of excited about this other activity that's going to be happening in the Natural Resources Program. It's funded through Perkins, and we've been able to purchase a very nice quality drone and some GIS handheld equipment. And we have the Moosewood Technology Group are coming over. In fact, tomorrow is going to be the first workshop, and they're going to work with the natural resource students. The class is full with 18. They will take them out into the woods. They're going to map the Fall Mountain Forest and map our resources. And there's a lot that goes into a forest management plan. So we're pretty excited about getting started with that partnership. And they're pretty well known. They're involved in the Antioch Spatial Awareness Group Society. So it should be a very high quality program. Then I am very pleased to share, and it's just last spring I was approached by the Fall Mountain Scholarship Committee about creating a program to recognize CTE students. And 2 of my students here tonight are students who are recognized by this program. It's called the CTE Student of the Month. So each month, a student is selected by the CTE staff, and they are in the student newsletter, and then the Fall Mountain Scholarship Fund puts them in the newspaper. I don't know if you've seen the little pieces there, but also there's $100 scholarship.
Thanks.
So it's pretty neat. I'm very proud to have that. Any questions so far?
Is that the endowment? Yeah, is that no? or
Yes.
is-
No, it's the
This is-
Fall Scholarship
Scholarship,
Committee.
yeah.
It's different.
Okay.
That was very nice. All right, so then we have another very nice recognition, and this is the JROTC program. So the second time in 4 years that their academic team has earned the opportunity to go to Washington DC to compete against 40 other teams across the United States. And Abby Stavro is here tonight to talk about that opportunity, and she's on the academic team. Come on up, please, Abby. And Abby's on the color guide that brought the colors in for the budget.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. I want to talk about our trip to DC. So, I'm actually the captain of our, academic team. And, we've worked so hard for this opportunity because all of us, like, that's our only goal on this team is to get to Washington. We have competed, around, I think it's 4,200 other schools to get here. And we are in the top 40 in the nation. So we are very proud of that. And I can tell you when we heard the news that we were going, like one of the other teammates was crying because she was so excited. And we're also super proud because this is an all-female team. So all 4 of us girls are heading down to DC in June to compete, and we are going to be working our butts off for this because yeah, that's kind of what this whole program is about. Going, competing, leadership, everything about that. Also, this program has given me so many opportunities, like I can't even explain it. Like no other high school class I think could ever compete with this in my opinion, but I do love it. So we've like flown in helicopters. We've had a Black Hawk helicopter land in our football field because of our program. We've been on planes. We go in June on a trip that allows us to do, we go do land nav on a military base. We go kayaking. This year we're going whitewater rafting. There are just so many things that I've been able to do because of the program, and I can never appreciate it enough. Honestly, I could talk for hours about this, but I don't want to keep you guys here. So if you guys have any questions, I would love to answer them.
What's your biggest fundraiser to go in June?
We don't need a fundraiser to go in June.
don't?
To DC, it's all expenses paid.
Nice, that's fantastic.
It is, it really is. Oh, also, I wanted to talk about, so I know she mentioned, how one of the kids in Unity was excited about JRTC. And that's probably because we do recruiting trips to every feeder school, and not feeder schools. Actually, the school I went to, we're trying to go recruiting over there, which is in Vermont, because that's a choice school. I chose to come here. We really do love our recruiting trips and they help so much. We've gotten better at them through the years. And I love doing them because I love seeing the kids and they all seem like they're having so much fun. I love it. So we're also doing that to help with the people coming into Raleigh. So yeah.
Congratulations.
So fantastic.
Because they do, that's each other, their ranks.
Yeah, and if you guys have any other questions, I'd be happy to answer. So
Thank you.
thank you.
Very much.
Thank you.
Great program. And now I have 2 students of the month, and they'll come up together because they're kind of two people apart. Can I say, come on up? One was love the other. So I have Ashlyn Smith, and Ashlyn was a student of the month for February, and she's completed animal science. She'll complete animal science in June. And she's a mentor for the students, and she's actually going, this is Ashlyn, is going to work this summer as a bond supervisor and during the school year. I always just talk about how the program is organized. There's a lot of leadership skills there. The neighbor, Schulenberg, has, she was CTE student of the month in November, but she has completed the horticulture program. And she'll finish animal science this year, right? So, I mean, she loves it. So I'm gonna let them share their experience with you.
So I was approached by Bruce and Ms. Hall about being bar manager in training this year, but full-time next year. So the bar manager basically keeps track of all the animals, keeps track of make sure all the students know what they're doing, make sure the barn is a safe environment, making sure if when we have animals born, making sure they get everything they need, making sure everybody is fed correctly, like pens are moved around. Bruce's classes, I have in my 5th animal science class, and I've taken natural resources and ag mechanics. So I have taken every class Bruce has to offer. Animal science has really helped me because I want to either be a large animal veterinarian or work in the dairy nutrition. So I've learned a whole ton of stuff in Bruce's classes, between anywhere from like
feeding schedules, cleaning pens, to like what we do when we have a really sick animal and how we can fix it and turn it right around. It's a really great program. It's really helped me. I have spent most of my day out in the barn, two blocks this semester. But yeah.
So Ashlyn, also, is very active in the 4-H, and she's placed first in the state in the last 2 years in the 4-H Dairy Quiz Bowl. So congratulations with that. And, yeah, great, thank you. Ava,
I'm gonna work the horticulture program. So
nice and loud.
in the horticulture program, we have the 4 different courses. There's horticulture, landscaping, greenhouse management, and horticulture. You learn basically all the basics about plants, and then you can go on and learn like college level landscaping drawings and how you graph it out and things like that. We do like one big trip at the end of every year where we just go visit like big horticulture museums or art museums or big gardens. I've learned a lot in that class, and I'm taking all of them, and we do our own little floral shop, so we like order flowers and then you can come and buy them. We do pop shops in hallways and things like that. I can agree with her too about the animal science programs. I've taken 4 and I'm in natural resources now. I have learned so much in that class, and I've always wanted to be a large animal vet as well. And the amount of knowledge that I have now to go further with that is like, I never thought I'd learn that in those programs.
Oh, thank you. And you're vice president of our 4-H club, right?
That's okay.
Leadership. Any questions for any of us, student presenters?
Thank you.
Great.
Yeah.
I don't have a question, but I just want to say I appreciate that all of you are looking towards the future and using the classes here to go on to something else. And I know that's a big question I get a lot in the community, is like, what are our kids in CTE doing? And so now I can say that I've heard it from you, that you'll be taking what you've learned here and going on, and you have goals that Plum Mountain has set you up for. So thank you really for being here and sharing all that with us.
And thank you for having us.
If I can say that large animal vet is one of the is a huge area of need. So I'm very happy to hear that we have two prospective large animal vets. That's a wonderful thing.
Thank you, Sarah. Good night.
All right, Patrick?
All right, so for the report, academics, not much has changed. SATs are coming up, which is a big thing, but overall, not much other than students still worried about the whole teachers retiring and some 2 positions getting cut, about what's gonna happen with class variety and class sizes. But overall, not much has really changed in terms of academics. In athletics, our cross-country ski team, the boys team at least, I believe placed 2nd in their state tournament. Which was a good thing for them, and they came home with that trophy, and it was a lot of fun for those guys. Looking forward to, I know student council is trying to plan a field day in late May. So like very shortened classes and then a lot of time spent outside having fun before finals. And then recently at the school, we started a peer mentor program with the middle schools. Where certain peer mentors, certain students that were interested go to the middle schools sometime during the day to talk to a student there, to kind of be like a big brother, big sister program. And currently we've already started that in Walpole and in Charlestown. We are still waiting on Violet, but we are in contact with them. I'm currently one of Head started, so me and Miss Chandler have been working to make sure that's going well. But yeah, currently we're just waiting to figure out something with Violet, but it's open to all schools in the district. And we have multiple peer mentors working towards it.
That sounds like it's going to fill a need for those middle school students. So I really look forward to hearing more.
It's been going pretty well. I think it's the 3rd week that it's been going on at Walpole, and I believe the 4th at Charlestown. And I haven't heard anything bad about it. The students seem to be enjoying it. Both the peer mentors and the middle schoolers seem to be enjoying it, having a good time with it. Most of the high school students are happy to finally be able to go back to their middle school and see what's changed. But yeah, it seems to be going well.
All right, thank you.
So, we had asked last time to have a report about the class sizes in the high school. And we don't have one, so.
So you know what? Good news and bad news. I have the information. I did not include in the report. So I'll send that, what I'll do is I'll send a follow-up email when I have the information, yeah.
Okay.
Does anybody on the board have any other questions for Patrick? No, Patty. All right, thank you. All right, then we will bring them directly back to our superintendent.
Yeah.
Good week.
All right, thank you. All right, so good evening to the board, good evening to our viewers at home, and good evening to those in the audience. So we have a abbreviated report this week, but run if you would. Thank you. Oh, thank you. So with everything we do, always everything we do, our work is centered on the mission and vision of Fall Mountain. And you've seen sort of the byproduct of that work here, just hearing student voices, and the ways in which we're building leadership and preparing our students. So very good work to those ladies. Good job, everyone. Again, to our communities, this is our tab, Superintendent's Corner. Please look for our superintendent's briefs and updates. You'll find that there on our website. And so a couple of things I want to bring the board's attention. There is a Goshen's having a school choice public school fair. And I wanted to know if the board would have any interest in attending. We will be there. We'll be represented to showcase our school, our course offerings, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm inviting the board to come along as well.
When is that?
This is May 18th. I believe that's a Saturday.
Yes, it's
Oh,
a
nice.
Saturday. I will be there.
Can you send that out via calendar invite?
Sure.
That'd be great. So if it doesn't go on the calendar, it doesn't exist.
True story. So yeah, that would be great if there's anybody who wants to volunteer to be there.
If it fits in the calendar, yeah, I'd absolutely go.
And then I know currently we have students in high school, but I understand our existing agreement, we also extend it to middle school as well. So we'll be there showcasing what we have to offer and hoping to attract some more students. All right. Right now, I just wanted to provide an update in regards to the curriculum that we're looking to purchase for the district. If I can have Ms. Wilson.
right here.
Oh, there you go. All right. So, yeah, all right. You take it from there.
So I put the objective, back up on the slide, so that you could see what that was and just so that would ground sort of the conversation. I also wanted to talk about the makeup of the, two teams that we have. So there is a K4 and a 5-8 representative, from each attendance area, on each of the committees. On the ELA team, we also have, reading specialists, special education, and administrators. On the math team, we have, again, one K4 and one 5-8 representative from each of the attendance areas, special education representatives, and administrators. We are currently in phase 4, so we're right on target according to the plan that I outlined. The math team is just slightly ahead of the ELA team. They've already had presentations from some of the curriculum representatives. And I've already started to receive materials for them to look at. So we're going to start that tomorrow. The team is meeting tomorrow afternoon. And so they've already had demo access. Our ELA team has had demo access to different curriculums, but we met today and also identified curriculums to start having presentations. And I contacted those representatives this afternoon, and I'm waiting to hear back from them, as well as get samples as well. So pretty confident that we're going to stay on target, even though one committee is moving a little bit faster than the other committee. Also wanted to talk a little bit about kind of the importance of why we need this curriculum. I know that there's some information out there in the community that is kind of bubbling up to the surface. But one of the reasons that we really kind of need this is to specifically when our teachers are new to the district and they come in, we haven't had a consistent curriculum and an updated curriculum for a very long time. Our math and focus curriculum was the last one that we had K-8. And we haven't had a consistent ELA curriculum in the district for K-8. So that would really help our new teachers. The other thing that we've really been talking about is moving away from person-dependent curriculum and resources, and having something that is more consistent across the district, because that would really ensure access to all students across the district. Consistency is another piece, and we've been talking about that with the committees as well, that we really want to make sure that we're having the same educational standards, the same expectations and the same resources across the district as well, and that content is the same no matter what school you go to. And that also leads us to the conversation around equity, that regardless of what school that you are going to, that student would have the same opportunities, the same resources, and that actually reduces the disparity in learning outcomes across the district. So it's really vital that we get that curriculum and that we have that same curriculum across any of the schools that students are in K-8. And then the collaboration and efficiency. And this is a conversation that actually came up today in our ELA conversation, is that if we have some of those, if we have the same curriculum in our schools, we're going to be allowed to share those best practices. We're going to be allowed to share strategies to enhance learning across the district. And that really will do a great amount of good for our teachers, because it's going to save time and it's going to save resources and for those teachers, that they're not going to have to create their own materials. And that's really that shift from having some person-dependent curriculum to really having a district-wide curriculum. Questions about that?
Within, first of all, this is great. Within all of these efforts, what if anything is being done to address the disparity that we saw with the special education scores and the curriculum?
So Xandra Reagan is one of the administrators that is actually sitting on the committee, and Xandra has been reaching out to some of those reps and having specific conversations around interventions that those companies specifically have. I was at one of the math, actually I was at all of the presentations last week, and actually had a conversation with her this morning, reached out to one of the reps and had that rep connect us with one of his colleagues, so that Xandra and I could have a conversation about the tier 2 and tier 3 resources that company offers specifically for math. But she had also reached out on her own for some of the ELA programs.
Nice. When you guys land on that, I'd love to hear what you're looking at for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, Jamie.
Are you at liberty to share with us the names of a few of the ones that are being contemplated or demoing?
Yep, so for math, hold on, let me pull up my document. That's why I brought my laptop with me. For math, the 3 presentations that we had was from Imagine Learning, and we looked at illustrative math, which is a K-8 program. We looked at Curriculum Associates, and that is Ready Classroom Math K-8. That is also aligned to the iReady program that we have. And then we also looked at SAVAS or SAVAS. It's the Envision Math Common Core K-8 program. So those 3 math programs are the 3 that we've looked at, that we've had presentations on, and we'll be talking about those tomorrow in the math committee. For ELA, the 4 that we were looking at was SAVAS Learning. It was my view and my perspective. So those 2 curriculums are split by K-5 and 6 through 8. Great Minds, Wit and Wisdom, which is in alignment to foundations and geodes that we have purchased in the past. Amplify, CKLA stands for Core Knowledge Language Arts. We'd only be looking at the Knowledge Builder, because the Skill Builder part of CKLA is already covered by Haggerty and Foundations that we currently use. And then Amplify also has an ELA for 6th through 8th grade. And then we also were considering Curriculum Associates, and they had 2 things that we were looking at. One was Magnetic Reading, was K-5, and then Ready Common Core, which was K-8. And so today, the committee made the decision to narrow down to just Great Minds and Amplify.
Can I ask one follow-up question? I know one of the things that continuously has been coming up is the writing element. Like once they have these foundational skills, applying them in writing. What of these programs that you just discussed do you think would address that?
So typically an ELA program will have writing built into the ELA program. I think that one of the things that is unique about Fall Mountain is that we have at the middle school level, we have a reading teacher, and then we have a writing teacher. And so one of the conversations that did happen today at our ELA committee was how are we going to handle that? And that's not something that we've figured out yet. I think that's part of that implementation stage. We did bat around a couple of different scenarios, but because our 3 middle schools are different in the way that they're set up, I think that that's going to be something that we have to think about in terms of like each building and how that's going to work in each building. Plus our instructional time is a little bit different in each building. So we don't have an explicit writing program that we're currently looking at because we were given the charge to find a K-8 ELA program.
Sure.
And not a K-8 reading program and a K-8 writing program.
Understood. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
What kind of professional development is involved in rolling out a brand new curriculum?
So part of when I was writing, sort of like the budget and I was presenting that to Dr. Spence and to, Lori was looking at that whole project, in advance, but also looking at what could we roll into grants, as well. And then, lots of times these companies will offer professional development and build that into the price as well. And you can often bargain with them, and say, which will be part of that process. But we would be looking at, I truly think that we have to have sustained professional development in order for this to really be helpful for us. So we're looking at a multi-year plan of professional development.
I just want to confirm that we are looking to purchase this, train on it and get it implemented for the 24-25 school year.
Correct.
That is
Correct. I'm on a very, very short timetable. My plan is to have both committees give input to what we should purchase. Ultimately, they will let me know like what their first choice would be, what their second choice would be, because then I would need to negotiate with companies, knowing what our budget was, and then go from there. You're welcome. But my hope is that we'll have all of that wrapped up by the end of April, mid-May.
Kudos, I know that we've stymied you a few times on this, so.
A
Sorry.
little bit, that's okay.
I think the process so far though has brought you to this really great place.
Yeah.
So I
We,
really like.
I mean, I will say that the committees that we have had in the last 2 years have done a lot of work, and a lot of that has laid the foundation for this. I think that the support that we've had from Dr. Spence and from you has absolutely paved the way for this to happen, so. And the committees are very clear that they know what their charge is and how short the timetable is and why the timetable is the way that it is.
Sarah, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, it sounds great to me. I'm so happy to hear that this work is being done. I've been looking for this for the whole time I've been on the board, so this is wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Very well
Thank you,
done,
Kristen.
very well done. And so I'm happy that captures our work. This is not about, we're not taking autonomy away, we're adding resources to the school. This is not about local control. This is about creating access for all students and all learners within our system. A good curriculum should spell out a roadmap, so the learning and implementation, I imagine within a year, maybe a year or two, just tweaking some things out. And it'll allow us to really be able to control for student achievement, to find out from a clinical standpoint, what are the barriers to learning? We're also, as Kristen referenced, developing our body of professional development for years to come. So we're phasing this out. This is what we will prioritize based on the data that we looked at. We understand that differentiation is something we really need to focus on and expand access. And so we will phase this out and build to our needs. So very excited about this and thank you for your support. Last but not least, I would like to celebrate Principal Casarino. Principal Casarino has been selected to receive an A+ Administrators Award from the New England League of Middle Schools. The purpose of this award is to honor administrators who value, understand, and support effective middle-level education that promotes learning for young adolescents. He met the criteria for this award because he actively supports middle-level education, building community support, and recognizes middle level as a distinct entity of education. The location for this celebration will be at the Sheraton Springfield Monarch Place Hotel in Springfield, Massachusetts. And it'll take place on Sunday, March 24th from 6 to 7:30. And for context, let me add the context. We had a fundraiser at the North Walpole School to raise money for the 5K run. And essentially, our kids were charged with raising $800. They raised $1,700. And the reward was that they were able to pie Principal Casarino and myself, as well as 2 other teachers of the North Walpole School. So they got the better of us. It was a pretty good day, but I'm happy about their fundraising efforts. It was a really good day too. And that concludes my report. And again, I have that information. Kevin, very soon I'll get it to you. I just neglected to put it in this report.
When he was here.
Yeah, you know, it's funny thing, I was saying to myself, I was like, oh my God, can I add it to the presentation quick? But I have it, Dr. Edmonds got me that information the night that we asked, so I'll forward that along. Right, that concludes my report.
Well, before we end that, I just also want to congratulate Dustin. That's pretty fantastic and a reflection of what's going on in his school. So well done.
Yeah, we've had some celebratory moments, a lot of celebratory moments this year. You know, it's been a rough year for all systems, but we definitely have things to be happy about here in Fall Mountain. So I'm very pleased, good work everyone, and happy to see that we're being acknowledged for this.
Thank you very much.
All right, so, excuse me, I did include the, expenditure report. Yeah, I don't have anything. I don't know, Brendan, if you can bring that up. But the expenditure report was linked to the agenda, so if you have any questions, I do, want to clarify on, my comment B, which was for the technology support. At our last board meeting, we had talked about I needed a public hearing. You were concerned that maybe there were exceptions and we didn't need to do that. So I did confer with the Department of Revenue as well as our legal counsel. We couldn't find any exceptions for federal grant funds or federal funds in the RSAs. However, if you'll recall, during the budget hearing, we had a lengthy discussion with some of our constituents regarding the $2,058,000 line and why that wasn't broken out in detail, and that we identified that as a placeholder. So what Matt Upton, our legal counsel, and I thought would be prudent or reasonable, it's a placeholder. And I will monitor the revenues that are received that fall into that category. And if it looks like we're going to exceed that 2,058,000, then I would request a public hearing in June to accept whatever funds, and then we can do it as like a lump sum. So I meant to correct my note. It says public hearing necessary to accept the funds. That is not the case at this time. I will know better for June.
All right, just a question on that. My comment, I think, was that I thought you had the ability to vote as a governing body, like everybody at Fall Mountain, all of the constituents, on accepting unanticipated revenues.
Which we do and we did. However,
Okay.
if it exceeds 5,000, you still have to go through that process.
20,000 now, it's changed.
You're right.
Yeah.
Just recently was changed to
Yeah.
20,000.
So if it's considered a donation though, outside of grant funding, right? Or no?
No, it would be all
Okay,
other unanticipated funds. So the goal would be that for,
See, I understood it differently,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna look into what we
Okay.
voted then.
okay, I mean, we did
Yeah.
vote to enact that, the RSA, I don't remember what it is
Yeah.
specifically. I can look it up and I can tell you when it happened,
Sure.
because it's on our
DRA.
DRA
Yeah.
perm file, they do a review and update things, so, I have that as a point
It's
of reference.
helpful, isn't it?
It's
They do that
very
now?
helpful, because it tells me, I can go back to that and see when, capital reserves were created
yeah.
and such. Anyway, so I can share that information with you. So that was all I had that I wanted to add to this report. I don't know if you have any questions.
Last time you were gonna, review the encumbrances, I can't say that
Yeah.
word, or, I guess operation services. Were you able to do that yet?
So, I reviewed, the encumbrances for, all of the functions and categories and feel that it's reasonably reflected here at this stage.
Alright.
Back to superintendent. If there's no questions there, because you have us here, I have the information. You want to pull it up?
On class sizes?
Yeah, the class sizes and the courses that we couldn't, that was the other question we asked. The courses we could not run due to limits. Let me add that.
Do you want to add that to the agenda?
I'm okay.
Or I can send out an email, either or.
I'd like to just kind of review it. I don't think I need.
Oh, okay, all right, so I'll just forward the email.
Our next meeting. So,
Okay,
Okay,
okay, perfect.
thank you.
Email first coming in a couple of minutes.
Appreciate that.
The encumbrances are general fund only, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, this entire
Gen fund only.
snapshot is general fund only.
Are we expecting any offsetting revenues to come back against any of these expenditures? Do we know yet from grants? I know that was a question on some of the projects.
So I'm still working on that.
All right,
We're
okay.
trying to nail down, I don't remember which group I shared this with. So the state said that they are willing to allow me to, write in projects that were originally intended to be in ESSER 2, which is of course closed,
Yeah,
into ESSER 3 if I can show up front that we have complied with every
piece of it. Yeah.
piece of it.
That is
So-
new information. I don't think you
Okay,
shared that with us, but
okay.
that is wonderful to hear.
It is, having said that,
If you can prove it, yeah.
for grant funds, you have micro purchases, small purchase, you have different level of purchasing that occurs and different guidelines that apply. When you're using grant funds for construction, you must have a signed contract for anything in excess of $2,000. That is going to be a challenge. However, they told me to focus on Davis-Bacon, and if we can get through Davis-Bacon, then they'll talk to me about the other stuff, because if we have a signed estimate,
Right,
depending upon the nature of the job, perhaps
it will fit.
they'll work with me.
Mhm.
Based on the letter of the law, we don't comply, but I still have hope that if I can meet the Davis-Bacon. Part of the challenge with Davis-Bacon is that, there's a prevailing wage, and you should know that and have it posted and pictures of the posting on the job sites. Well, that's great if you're building from the ground up and you have this huge board or a trailer with all of your notices, right? We have school buildings that, people are just in and out. There's not this general, it's typical, it's handled differently. Whether that's right or wrong, I don't know. But so I can't prove posting of the Davis-Bacon. That wasn't investigated prior to the projects starting. So I'm trying to go backwards and find that information because 24 is easy to find, but I need to find the prevailing wage that was in place July, 2023 in both Sullivan and Cheshire counties. And it's broken down that specifically in 2024, and I'm having difficult time locating that information for 2023. So somebody was helping me with that. They found 2022, and I haven't had an opportunity to follow up on that conversation and call, I think, the state suggested calling, the US Department of Labor.
I may have that information.
That would be lovely.
touch base with more.
Yeah,
Okay,
any of
perfect.
the schools that had grants,
Oh, that's true too.
that had grant projects that were
Right.
construction
Right.
for the same time period. Put it out on the VA thing.
Yep.
NASBO site, asking anybody if they have the info. I didn't, because I got no grant money.
So that's where we're at with that piece, so that's, I'm actively pursuing it and trying to get more information.
Well, I appreciate any additional work that's done on that.
That request would need to be restricted to Sullivan and Cheshire County, so they.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so that would narrow it down a little bit,
Right,
but.
right. Okay,
But if they pulled it down, they may have pulled down the whole entire report.
right. Thank you for that suggestion.
Yeah, no worries.
Is there anything anyone would like to add? Any more questions for you? All right, then, does anybody want to discuss anything on the consent agenda? If not, I will.
I'm sorry. Would you make available for us in a little posting thing, the fiscal year to date expenditures? Cause I need it for the next budget committee meeting. Just, like pull it down, just run the report for all the
Okay.
expenses from July 1 through, pick a date.
Okay, so like account by account, not because this report. had-
Yeah, long line item
Okay.
one. I don't need it any way specific, just as an Excel spreadsheet, just maybe through 2/29.
Okay.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Do we need to put on the agenda French trips? We can talk about it.
You guys can just approve it if you like, but
We probably should have it
I'm happy to download. it.
committed to the, yeah,
The information in your folder, but yeah.
Okay, then I remove the overnight request for June 21st, 2024 French Honor Society Bronco route from the consent agenda. And we'll add. We are in motion to accept the consent agenda with one item.
And make the motion to accept the consent. Personal.
Sarah?
Oh, yes.
Jamie, yes.
Jenny?
yes.
Joe, yes.
Alicia, yes. All right, thank you. All right, I invite Madame to speak on behalf of the French Club.
Hello, everyone.
Please forgive me, I did not see you resign that.
I know, I'm very mysterious over there. It adds to the allure.
Well done.
So my name's Rebecca Forking. For those of you that don't know me, I am the French teacher here at Belmont Regional High School. Oh, I think you might have the last page of his attached to yours. Yeah,
Oh,
beautiful. It's a staple of stapler. Thank you. That way I don't need to keep buying staples and can save money.
Fingernails, you don't pull them out.
staple less stapler. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it just kind of does.
Yeah. Very neat.
So, for those of you that do not know our great education here in New England, about 1 million people moved from the province of Quebec in the early 1900s to work in the middle. So a lot of French last names, a lot of Franco-American heritage is here in New England as a result of that. So there is now a Franco route to celebrate some of that heritage. So I want to take the French Honor Society students on an overnight trip to learn about the French heritage that is in our area. So if you follow along to the next page, we have what is the Franco route, and it kind of gives you that brief overview. And you can see there's little dots. It starts up in Lewiston, Maine, and goes all the way down to Woonsocket, Rhode Island. So we would be following that route more or less. My thought is we're gonna start in Woonsocket based on museum openings.
So we'd start down in Rhode Island. These are some of the activities that we would do. There's geocaching, which is basically treasure hunting for nerds with expensive equipment. There's museums, and all of these are available on the Franco Root website, should you want more edification as to what they are specifically. So we go to a bunch of those different things, depending on what tours and things they can offer the students. Leaving Woonsocket, Rhode Island, we would then visit Lowell, Massachusetts. There's more, the geocaching goes throughout. If we did all of it, we could get potentially a little coin, because there's a podcast that does the coins if you do all of them. I don't know if I'm young enough to do all of those, but we will find out. So there, in addition to the museum, there's like outdoor time, there's old schools, all sorts of different fun things that the kids could do. Manchester, New Hampshire is our New Hampshire site. There's a Milliard Museum. The kids can actually take a tour of that entirely in French. Chez Vachon Restaurant has a poutine eating contest that we may or may not partake in. You are laughing. It is 5 pounds of poutine. Like, the thought of it alone makes you a little.
No, I know what it is. Wow. Nope.
Chaperoning is very popular on our trips. We'd head up to Biddleford, Maine after. There's also universities along the way, so in parks, genealogical things, other museums, et cetera, et cetera. And then we'd end in Lewiston. There's different areas in the town in Lewiston that are like Little Canada, all of that. So that, of course, sounds delightful, as it should. So how are we getting around? I got my school bus certificate, so I am eligible to drive the school vans and as well as the miniature buses in order to provide all of these wonderful opportunities to our young folks. Also, we would make some stops along the way on the Lafayette Trail. So Lafayette is in Hamilton, the play, also historical figure, did a whole tour of New England, and there's trail stops where you can like go and visit and see signs and when he went. And there's actually an entire society that studies and dedicates their life to him. So we can do some of those stops along the way for rest areas. So the important questions that you all are wondering about is, there's the little geocaching sites, should you want to know. On the very back page, there's the price breakdown. So we would get 3 hotel rooms, one for the teacher, a boys' room and a girls' room. We would stay overnight at 3 of those cities, so we would do more than one city in a day for a couple of them. We would need gas, admissions, about $500. Some of the activities, obviously, you're going to a park, it's free. Some of the museums I will haggle with. And then the only cost for the students is going to be for food. The rest of it is already been fundraised by the French Club and French Honor Society. So that way they have some skin in the game, they'll pay for food.
Did you say how many students?
I'm not sure how many students will be able to go at this time because a lot of the students apparently are doing intensive baseball tournaments in the summer, so I have learned. There's up to 11 students that would qualify to go.
Yeah, gotcha.
And so if I could use the miniature school bus, then I could fit up to 14 students with me. If I can only take the school van, I can only bring 6 students with me.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
Is there any contingency for a kid who wants to do it, who has earned it and maybe doesn't have the funds?
For the food?
Yeah, for the food, for example. I think you were saying that's the added cost. Yeah,
The only cost is for the food.
okay.
And that's kind of why we're planning it now, is so that way if that was something, they could start to save up and figure out ways to maybe fundraise or earn that before we go. I've never had a student not be able to go because of costs related to food, because most parents have to pay for their kids anyway. I've had kids pack food and then we store that around with us, which is always a great time. If you saw us last summer, we had done all the concessions. So we had all the leftover chips and Gatorades and stuff in the car with us to help cut down on the cost of food for the students. So they're literally sitting in the car hugging this block. It was a great time. Yes.
So not necessarily directed at this.
Okay.
But I think it's a conversation that the board and the superintendent need to have along with the administration, because I brought that up as well as Jenny bringing it up. We should have some type of system that we maintain internally with some type of funding that people can put in, anonymously for grants if they can't afford for their kids to go. So that it doesn't have to be, known by everybody and their brother. It can be done, anonymously like they would an FNR report, an FNR application or something like that. So I think that's important that we try to establish something like that, because there's more and more trips that, may come up. And you never know, what a burden is or isn't, because we're very proud people and they don't, like to share those heartaches.
I will say that clubs,
Yeah.
so French Club and French Honor Society
Yeah.
are not funded in any way by the school.
Yeah.
They pay just me as a teacher, I think $816 this year.
Yeah.
But there's no money to support any of the student activities that we
Right.
do.
Right, and
So
I'm
we
not
fundraise all of it.
suggesting that, I'm suggesting that we as a school district should figure that out.
Right.
If we're going to, want to support, immersion type trips, or that really fit with a lot of what we're trying to teach, that we should be able to try to figure that out.
I am in agreement with you, and I'm saying if I had money given
Yes,
to
I
me, then I
know,
would have
yeah.
included everything.
Yeah,
no,
we
If you saw
realize.
if you know the fundraising that French Club and French
Yeah.
Honor Society do, we're hustling to pay for all of these kind of things.
It's not a knock on you guys.
I didn't take it that way.
I think that's a really great point, and I think we should mull that over a little bit and come up with a solution for maybe our summer retreat.
Yeah.
And then move it
kickoff or
into
something.
next year's school season.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
thank you for keeping that.
Thank you for all of your efforts. This is an awesome opportunity.
Thank you, we try.
Yeah, I wanna go. It looks fun.
We do take chaperones.
You gotta fit on the bus though. or drive
Yeah.
the car.
If it involves the bus, I'm all set.
Are we gonna be out of school by then?
We have 2 days so far.
So the 17th is the last day for teachers, so this is the day after that.
Okay.
Is when it starts, so then that way, even if we had a snow day, it would affect like my prep time versus students' final exams,
It's not gonna be
things like
final.
that. But I tried to get it as close to as possible before students would be going off to the other.
Yeah.
And it lines up because on Saturday, there's a Franco-American Festival in Leominster,
Nice.
Massachusetts, so,
Fantastic.
yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Oh, thank you.
I will entertain.
A motion to approve the overnight request for the June 18th through the 21st for the French Honor Society.
I'll second.
All right, thank you. Sarah?
Yes.
Yes. Jenny, yes.
7 yes.
Melissa, yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bonjour.
Yes, I was on brand for my presentation. and
Mm-hmm.
everything.
Should do it in French.
Thank you.
It's like, "What?"
It's the only part, that's the only French I know. If it was Spanish, I could have been more interested.
All right. Lori, will you present to us on the lead remediation grant?
Okay, so there is a lead remediation grant available from the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services. And, excuse me, and it can be applied towards costs already incurred and those costs that we wish to incur. Part of their application process is to include minutes from the board saying you're willing to accept these monies. So I need that action taken so I can then submit the grant. As it stands right now, we're looking at about, a request of about $5,000. I want to say that there's a limitation, I think of 10. I might be wrong on that. But I will check with Bill before we submit the grant just to see if there's anything else that we can kind of scoop in and include. But that's where we're standing right now. And my understanding is the final piece that we need for this application is the minutes from the grant. So that is the first action item. And then the second one is that in 2020 or 2021, we entered into a rural utilities service grant from the USDA, and this, I believe, was to around telecommunications.
Is
or
that the
technology.
one that we shared with Claremont and Newport?
It is precisely. So, excuse me, Ball Mountain Fall Mountain was, the designated, or is the
Yeah.
designated,
Fiscal
agent
agent.
and fiscal agent.
So we get to do the paperwork.
We get to do all the paperwork, and which we've done most of it, but it needs to be closed out.
Yeah.
My understanding is that, perhaps not all activity happened in the order or way it should have, and so that there might be a little bit of a mess to clean up. So I'm trying to connect with Cheryl on that, just to verify my understanding of it. But in trying to get this resolved, I spoke with, the land and everything, and, what it comes down to is that, the USDA asked if we would like a 1-year, extension, non-spending extension. So that doesn't come with any more money. We can't spend any more money. We don't have any money to spend. It's all spent. But it would give me the opportunity to, do this justice and, wrap it up and put it to bed. But because this was entered into so long ago, it was signed by Lori Landry as the agent. And so they need a signature for somebody current. Well, because in our policies, we don't have anything designating any of that, any signing authorities to me. I don't want to sign anything without board authorization.
Okay. Somebody needs to remind me to send that policy.
Please send the policy, Jane.
No, like in the email, I do read the email, I'll write it down, because there's a policy we can pass. that does that.
Yeah.
So do you need a
Sending a
motion
link, yeah.
to?
Thank you.
We'll need a motion for both.
Yeah.
So unless there's any questions, can we start with a motion, from someone to accept?
I'll make a motion that we accept funds for the lead remediation grant from the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services.
A second. All right, Sarah. I hear you.
I'm muted again. Yes.
Jenny, yes.
Joe, yes.
Ella, say yes. All right, you have it.
Bless you.
Bless you. And second, can I,
I'll make a motion to authorize Lori Schmidt, Business Administrator, to become the fiscal agent for the Russ Rural Utility Services Grant from the USDA.
a second? All right, thank you. Sarah?
Yes.
Jamie, yes.
Jenny, yes.
Joe, yes.
Ella, say yes. Thank you for bringing those to our attention and getting us all cleaned up. Appreciate having it sized up. Check.
You got yourself another year to do it.
Yay. All right, I don't,
Kind of corrupt.
No,
up
so
to April.
we have any committee reports? Jamie, do you want to give us a report from the budget?
Oh,
committee?
yeah, I would love to give you a report from the budget committee. We, met on, I think it was, let me think about this, the 28th, right? It would have been February 28th, my deliberatives are the 29th. And all of our budgets passed.
Congratulations.
From Vermont, that's a big
Yeah,
deal.
that is a big deal.
So yeah, we had a great meeting, on Wednesday, the 28th here. And, we went through and kind of debriefed about deliberative session and, what people thought went well, what people thought, could have been done differently. I'm not gonna say wasn't done well, because nobody was negative about any of it. There were some great suggestions maybe about how to do it differently, and of course, everybody was very appreciative of all that was done. Because it hadn't been done that fully in a while. Even though they felt it was way too long, they thought it was perhaps necessary. And so we talked about some other ways that could maybe be accomplished earlier than deliberative, moving forward. So then from that, we segued into putting up an idea of the calendar and where we would really like to, from our standpoint, meaning budget committee, right? See things, at what point in time they should maybe try to happen so that we don't get jammed up, and obviously last year was, it was a learning year for everybody. We're all brand new. We're all brand new, everybody moving positions everywhere, really, even through the schools, right? We had a couple principals that moved. And so it was good. We got like we talked about from the business side of the school district standpoint on what some of those dates mean, like from our standpoint, right, who do the job of having to post things, and things for the DRA. So we've kind of plugged those in there so that as the budget committee, new people come on or whatever, we can do a quick, budget 101 and how it works. And then this is why these dates are important, or this is what's tied to them. So after we did the calendaring, we moved on to a SWOT analysis, which was really in depth. I've got to say, it was a great brainstorming, it was like an hour and a half. I think we spent 2.5 hours in the meeting. And so, we have all of that, and it was very interesting where we had things, plugged in. We really were able to look at it and say, if we could deal with these pieces here, we can move them, right? To where we would love to see them be. An opportunity instead of a weakness, or, a strength instead of a threat, or vice versa. And some of them, it's very interesting because they're crossing through multiple facets of that, depending on what angle you're looking at it, right? Or maybe what seat you're in looking at it, whether you're administration or the board or the budget committee. So it was really great. It was a great exercise. I think we left really energized and appreciative of one another, even though we all were not in agreement on what was happening for deliberative and some of the numbers. We left that meeting, I think, with a tighter bond on wanting to move forward in a manner that was productive. So it was a great meeting. And so we'll be meeting all the way through. We're not gonna stop. We'll have our next meeting the 4th Wednesday of March. I need to get the SWOT analysis and the calendar thing typed up. But the minutes, I think, we lost our secretary, so we were gonna wait until tomorrow and find out who's coming on board to vote on the positions and who's gonna do what where. So I think poor Gabe was trying to run the meeting and take minutes, and with a little help from me and a little help from Amanda. So hopefully, if they're not posted, they should be posted soon. I have not typed up all of the notes from it was great. I have to thank IT. Tech was amazing. Okay, and they rolled out this whiteboard for us to use, and we were writing all over it. We took pictures, and it was good. So yeah, it was a good meeting. It was long and tiring, but good. I mean, we needed to do that as a group because it was a tough year. Yeah.
Well, I am sorry that I wasn't able to be there, because I did hear that it was an excellent meeting and really paved the way for a great next budget season, so. I think we're all still satisfied with, taking a break from the budget for a moment, but it will be better.
Yeah.
It's like the YouTube videos up if we want to watch.
Oh, good.
So,
Yeah, oh, good. Yeah, because it was taped, which is wonderful. Because there's a lot of content there. There was a lot of discussion, a lot of content, and, we still don't all agree, and it's okay. We figured we've come to the realization that it's okay. As long as we're respectful of each other.
I'm actually thankful you don't all agree. We get like a better product that way, so.
Yeah.
It's good.
So
We've got some pretty fantastic minds on the board.
yeah, and we still, I'll put the plug out there for anybody who's listening or, wants to get involved. It's a great way to get involved and gain an amazing understanding of how everything works, right? Not easy, but a great way to understand it all. We have an opening for Walpole, right? The Walpole seat. And I think at large is gonna be filled, which is great. Langdon, yeah, Jerry, right? Jerry Henry, yeah. I'm assuming it's, nobody's running against him, so welcome aboard tomorrow. Yeah, so which will be great, because, his spouse has an understanding of how it all works too. So he won't be just out there by himself with nobody to go back and say, how's this work? So it's good.
Great.
Yeah.
Policy meeting next week.
What day? I would happily try to
Monday.
make it. Monday. Monday.
We're actually having.
What time?
Did we decide on Monday? I thought so.
Not the Monday of the, okay.
I thought it meant like every week we were here on Monday, but.
Yeah, originally it was scheduled for the 25th, but I think we did talk about moving some up, but yeah.
Email
Let's
it.
revisit. Yeah, we'll revisit.
Okay,
No,
yes, because I did see.
You're talking next Monday,
What's today?
11th,
the 11th?
Oh, no.
Would be
I think
the
we talked about
18th.
the 25th. Right.
18 and 7 would be 2 weeks, 25th.
2 weeks, okay.
Is that right before the workshop? Yeah, okay,
Yes, I'm sorry.
3:25.
yes,
What time?
4:30.
Okay, at the office or here?
You choose.
Oh, no, I'm
We're
asking.
here.
We're here,
So
so we can discuss.
let's plan to stay here.
So technically, since there's a new board coming on tomorrow, I may or may not be on the policy committee.
Well, you still will through that meeting.
I still will through that. Okay. just checking.
Gotcha.
I mean,
And I'll come play with you, cause I'm
You
gonna
asked
bring
me-
some stuff. I
honest to
know.
God, you asked me
I
to
did.
do this to help
And then
you
you
out.
didn't
We
have
haven't had a
any
meeting since.
Yes, we
Really?
have some work.
It's
to do.
okay.
I think the only
Gonna get a
other,
lot done that one meeting, Jen.
right, the only other committee report question is that we are looking to put together the facilities committee. Misty has drawn up a request to go out to the public for anybody who's interested.
It's posted on the district website. It went out in a news article today and it was sent to all of the select boards today.
Fantastic. If any of you were,
What's the structure gonna look like? I'm just curious, cause I didn't read it, sorry.
sure, it's, we were looking at any school board members who want to come, you know, sort of a forum. It is an
Right.
ad hoc committee.
Yeah.
So it is not subject to
Okay,
all of the structures, but to have, every attendance area represented, every
Okay.
grade level represented from within the district, Bill, Lori, and then some really hopefully strong community
Okay.
presence. So anybody you think of in the community who has a trade or a skill or a desire to volunteer and really, like you said, find out the workings of the district and make a difference. With
so like an open committee.
Mhm.
Okay.
So with a capital improvement plan,
Yep.
developing those things, gathering information,
Mhm.
spread the word. If you're at your polling places tomorrow, I know I'll be printing off some of those letters and handing them out, at least having at the desk so that people who are civic minded may
Mhm.
see it and come in. So if there's anybody out there listening, we would really like your expertise on this committee. All right. Are there any other committee reports? No, at this point. Okay, excellent. So. The treasurer's report.
That's over here.
Yep, I sent everything out.
Oh, no, you do it differently than I do. Do we make a motion?
I
No,
see
we
a
have
motion
to.
to accept it, yes.
We do make a motion. We make a motion to accept the treasurer's report in the total amount of $2,293,434.22.
Well,
I'll second.
all right, thank you. Sarah?
Yes,
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes, thank you. That's a pretty happy folder. I don't believe we have any non-public this evening, so in a motion to adjourn.
Adjourn.
Second. Sarah?
yes, yes, yes.
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, yes, Jamie, yes.
Jenny, yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
11:30.
That hour.
That's what we-
Yeah.
All right.
Myself.